For about the last 3.5 to 4 years, I've had a daily carry pen on me. I have a lot of different pens, but the one I keep in my pocket is the Homo Sapiens Bronze Age, made by Visconti. It's been kind of a holy grail pen for me for years, and I've been carrying it around, and it's been really pretty great. It's showing its wear, and there's some things that I really, really love about it. For one, it's very, very solid. I'm rough on my pens in my pockets. I mow the lawn. I do everything you're not supposed to with my pen in my pocket. But the material is great, very solid. Material feels good too. It's that hygroscopic basaltic lava. It's really great feel to it. The way that it writes is awesome. It's got that Visconti Dream Touch nib with palladium that they've been known for the last 10 years or so. It's got the hook safe lock threads, which I think is just the absolute best capping mechanism, because it only takes 1/5 of a turn to uncap the pen, which works great for me. And I've got full details on the Homo Sapiens. If you want to really get into it, you can check out that video. There's a couple things that I don't love about it quite as much that keeps it from being like the absolute most perfect pen for me though. One of them is I can't tell how much ink is in the pen. So I mean, literally just this past weekend, I was using it and I ran out of ink mid-sentence. And I was out and about. It was the only pen I had, so I had to switch to a pencil, much to my dismay. The ink capacity is pretty good. It's about 1.5 milliliters, but it really could be higher in my opinion, especially because I use it all the time. It does get a little bit of nib creep. You know, as I'm carrying it around my pocket, it's hot, it's summertime here as I'm shooting this. So I'll get a little bit of condensation, some ink will come out onto the nib. I just wipe it off, it's not a huge deal, but it's not 100% like the best. And then over time, the enameling on the clip, especially on this one side of the pen, has kind of worn off. So, you know, it's something that I actually don't mind it because it really makes it my pen. You know, it's kind of like the patina. I never polish the bronze. I want it to be that aged natural look, but I know some people just may not love that. It's just got the enameling like right on top of the clip, and it can rub off over time, especially if you're using it heavily like I am. But the thing is, I've recently found a pen that may unseat this as my daily carry. Yet to be determined, but I wanted to show it to you because I have a sample of it, and I think it's just as exciting. And it is another Homo Sapiens. This is a new and improved version that is exclusive to the US called the Homo Sapiens Skylight. So this pen has all of the things that I love about my original Homo Sapiens, with a couple of updates and changes. So one of them, as you'll notice, is it has an ink window. 2 ink windows actually. One of them is right in the body of the pen, so you can see the ink kind of sloshing back and forth, which is super good, especially for a vacuum filler like this one. Visconti calls it their power filler. And they have an ink window on the center band. So what you see on the center band on the original version was made of bronze. This one is clear, which it's rounded a little bit, and it has almost kind of a magnifying effect too. Super cool. So even if you're holding it in your hand, you're blocking the ink window, you can still see that one pretty good. And it just gives a really interesting aesthetic to the pen. They've also upgraded the filling mechanism in this pen. So the original Homo Sapiens has the single reservoir power filler. This one has a double reservoir power filler, which you may have seen if you're a fan of Visconti. They have it on their Opera Masters. They have it on the limited edition Homo Sapiens that they do. The cool thing about this is it can actually seal off about 1/2 milliliter, which is about a converter's worth of ink in the front section of the pen that you can write with it, and then it seals off the back half. So it's got a higher ink capacity for one, which is great, but it also is better for traveling. So it can kind of lock off the ink. You can dump it all into the back and seal it off for when you're flying or traveling. That should help with things like nib creep and ink leaking into the cap. Now the nibs have changed on these too. Actually, the nibs have changed on all of the Homo Sapiens from my original version. Mine has the older palladium nib. Visconti has now moved to all 18 karat gold nibs. It's in a little bit of transition here late into 2019, but by the time this pen launches, and that'll mostly be all transitioned over. In practicality, in the way that it writes, it's actually very, very similar, and I really like the consistency and the way these 18 karat nibs perform. The biggest difference you'll see will be in the medium nib size, which is that the medium nib on the new 18 karat gold version is going to be a little bit finer line. It's not quite as much of a gusher as it was on the palladium one, but all around great performing nibs. And then aesthetically, my older version had a two-tone look to it, which was a gold and silver, which looks cool, but it doesn't completely match. the trim of the Bronze Age pen, but now they're coming with rose gold and it really matches, which I actually kind of like that a lot. And then the last difference that I've noticed is the clip. So the logo on the clip of my older pen, over the 4 years of abuse I've put it through, has worn off a little bit, especially on that one side. It looks like it's inlaid on the clip of the new pen. So that should help with wear because it's not raised up on top of the surface. So as things are brushing up against it, it's going to be better protected. It's going to last longer. Now there are a couple of drawbacks with this pen. I want to be real with you all here. One of them is the price of the pen. The Homo Sapiens is already kind of in that holy grail price range, and this one's a little bit more expensive too. Maybe more than just a little bit more. It's a $995 MSRP. The regular Homo Sapiens Bronze Age is $795 MSRP as of the shooting of this video. So you are paying a $200 premium for these features. But it puts it in that price range of more kind of where the limited edition Homo Sapiens are. And so it's not a complete surprise to me that these extra features are costing that, but for sure that could sway your decision of whether this pen could be worth that or not. And then the other kind of drawback is that it's only available in the bronze trim. Of course, that's the most popular, that's one I chose for myself, but the Dark Age, the Magma, there's other versions they've done too, which, you know, possibly they could expand to in the future if this really takes off and is popular, but currently you can only get it in the bronze. So those are the two drawbacks, but pretty much everything else is pretty darn great in my opinion. I would love to know what you think, and do you think this should dethrone my old standby Homo Sapiens as my daily carry pen? Would love to hear that in the comments here on YouTube. Be sure to check out more details on our product page. It's going to be available in the fall of 2019. We'll have exact dates on the website there, and you can learn more about it. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to this video if you want more like it. Thank you so much for watching, and right on.